Hey guys, welcome to Aquarius Rising Africa and Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa. And it's our weekly drop-in with ARA, where we're just gonna give you the roundup of the week and what's coming up in the schedule for the upcoming week as well. But firstly, I would really just like to give a huge shout out to our Patreons. Guys, thank you so much for each and every one of you who actually contribute to this channel. You guys really keep the nuts and the bolts of this channel going. And, we try to obviously do as much as what we possibly can, but every bit helps. So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. I really do appreciate you. Cool. So I think what we're going to do is just chat about this week's upcoming show. So I'm just going to pop up the schedule here. And you can see on Monday, we've got Brice again with the Emerald Tablets. That's 4 o'clock GMT +2. Apparently, a lot of the Americans, you guys don't know the 1600 or whatever. That's 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. Okay. And then, of course, on Tuesday, the 16th, also at 4 p.m., and I do believe that is maybe 9 or 10 a.m. For Brice's time, as I always say. We have Mr. Fox, who is going to be talking to us on the organic portals. You guys might have watched his interview with Brice on Esoteric Atlanta. But, so I'm very chuffed that he is going to be on with us as well. So, and then on Wednesday, the 17th, we have Brice again on Solutions with Aquarius Rising Africa. And there we do the Sophia code. Thursday, we've got AD Shab again. Also, no, we got her at 2 p.m. GMT +2. And for those of you who haven't watched AD's previous interviews, I want to highly recommend you do. She was the mother of Jad, who recently passed on. And he was the little boy that had severe injuries, if you will, from being vaccinated just with these normal children's child vaccinations that, common. We all were getting them, lining up to get them compulsory. And her incredible journey for 32 years before Jad recently passed away as being his caregiver, his mom, and just the whole incredible spiritual journey she went through with him. Incredible story. And she'll be back with me again on Thursday. She's a fantastic healer. I always say these people who've been to hell and back literally and come out and have chosen the path of being of service are really true healers. So she's a fantastic healer, and it's always just so amazing listening to her. She's so calm and after everything she's been through. Anyway, and then again on Friday next week, I have with me Catherine and Brice. So I'm really looking forward to that as well. We always have a lot of fun when the three of us get on together. We haven't even quite decided what the topic will be yet, but tune in for that, have fun, and, enjoy it with us as well. We don't have Jessie on this week, as you know. We've said that before, but she'll be on again next week on Wednesday, her usual time slot. Cool. So I just actually wanted to maybe chat about some of the stuff from this past week's show as well. If you guys haven't watched the Royal Coronation Decode with Jessie yet, I highly recommend you do. Lots of great information coming out there in terms of, all this royal protocol and who they really are, what secret societies and lineages they all belong to. Everything we know is in symbolism, in what they wear, how they present themselves, their posture, all of that. So it was interesting what Jessie had to say about the usual pomp and ceremony was not there. I also just wanted to point out, because she was talking about the dragon feeder, who would usually be dressed in green. And there was a lot of comments afterwards about Princess Anne with her green dress. I specifically did ask Jessie about that as well. And I'd just like to point out that does, according to what Jessie's saying, that does not necessarily mean that she is but that would usually be the Order of the Thistle. That's the garb that they wear. So that would really, what that would signify is that she's from the Order of the Thistle. But however, you know, in this day and age, I question everything. So for me, that's always open-ended. But it's really interesting to see what's coming out. And of course, that she, according to Jessie, is pretty much the head of the military, and sort of gives those orders. What was also interesting about her is that she's standing on the right-hand side of King Charles, or Charles, in the portraits they were doing. And a lot of people have come back and also spoken about that being, you know, she would really be obviously his advisor. But, you know, when we're looking at the system, what position does that put her in? Is she more powerful than him? Interesting. Anyway, I would love to hear your comments on that, because, of course, this is a great topic right now. And I think it's one, I'm certainly not a royalist, and I don't like to follow these, never have been one of these big celebrity, famous people followers. But I think this is very important, because I think it's just saying something about where the world is going and what we really need to be watching out for. Although, well, if what we're hearing is true, then the whole system is actually crumbling. The Vatican is bankrupt as well. And what's very, very interesting is what Jessie also pointed out was that there were not necklaces. All the diamonds and the pearls and whatever their necklaces that they usually wear, that was not on display. However, or they weren't wearing them. However, what I did see afterwards was that Kate, in fact, was wearing sort of a 3-strand, I do believe it's 105 diamond, loose diamond necklace from the Royal Vatican. Sorry, the Royal Vaults, not the Royal Vatican. Was that a Freudian slip or what? I don't know. Anyway, and that belonged to Queen Elizabeth. So that was, Kate was wearing that. You could see that once she'd taken off her garb. And very interesting, we're hearing that the royals are pretty much bankrupt, so they've had to auction off their jewelry. So that all fits in line with that as well. But what I find also very interesting, literally a couple of days, maybe a day or two after the coronation, we're now seeing how Princess Diana, it's like quite public, that her jewels are being auctioned off. I do believe the guy said they couldn't put a price on it. It might be 5 million, 10 million, or 15 million. I think that's pounds, right? So it's becoming clear that something is going on there. But I find it interesting that they should make it public that they are auctioning off Diana's jewels. And I do believe some of them were gifts from Dodi Al-Fayed, if that's true. And I also believe that some of them were still being made or not quite finished yet. But very interesting. So I'd also be interested to hear what you guys have to say about that. I mean, does anyone have any information on that? We're kind of looking into that, so it's very interesting as well. Another comment that if you watched, I was like quite fascinated by that Grim Reaper running around in the background. But one of the viewers as well, and I'm not going to mention the viewers' names purely for your privacy. If you don't mind me mentioning it, you can always say that. But for your privacy, I don't want to mention your names, but I do appreciate your comment. You'll recognize it if I mention it here. So one of the viewers was saying the Grim Reaper represents the cutting away of the past, like Kali, who is a Hindu deity. Okay, so it's not a joke; it's intentional, but it is supposed to be there. But it represents the cutting away of the past. You know, like the death of the old and beginning of the new. So is death ever really death, or do we just change from one state to another, transformation? Because I don't believe anything ever really dies. So interesting. Another thing that came up was also Charles not wearing new robes, which traditionally the king would wear, his new robes. He wore the robes, I think, of his father, I do believe, which was a point in question. As well, he was anointed with animal cruelty-free anointing oil. Of course, I would go yay to that, but I'm always wondering, what's the cover-up for that as well. So I was also listening that Charles sat on a boulder with a mythical reputation called the Stone of Destiny, and it was used in coronations for centuries, okay? His throne is 700 years old. So if you see that boulder, and I'm afraid I have Morna in the background with me today, but the boulder is like that stone boulder, and it's got like 2 rings on it. He was sitting on there, as well as the throne being 700 years old. And what they're saying is that allegedly the throne has all sorts of carved graffiti in it, which apparently allegedly were done by kids or schoolboys, visiting schoolboys, over like a 2-century period. So that's quite interesting. I would be interested to know if there's anything more to that, if anyone knows anything more, because what is that graffiti being carved in there? Who were the boys that were carving the graffiti in there? I mean, me, I've got a bit of a sinister mind, so I'm going to question these things as well. The last thing, or second last thing, which was very interesting, was that I just watched this before I actually came on, so I haven't really gone too deep into it, but there was a lady, and I forget her name, and I didn't make a note here, because one of the viewers, again, sent me the link. Are we looking at holograms, really? Because she had actually literally filmed it and then had played the video that she'd filmed of the coronation, slowed it down quite a bit. And you can literally see CGI was, in my opinion, they were using that. Because sometimes you'll see half of the boys' faces are missing. One point, Charles looks like he has no hair. It looks like he's bald. And you could see the red bleed of the color that the kids were wearing above the guy's head. So, I mean, I understand that the photography was not fantastic, but I also feel like there's possibly a reason why the photography was not that fantastic, because maybe they, say, well, it was just a glitch. In the photography, you can't really blame it on anything else other than that. But I found that very interesting as well. Then, of course, and I'm not sure if it's been doing the rounds, but it came to me, this one picture that she shows as she's slowing the whole thing down. And what was interesting, what I saw when she was doing the video, she had opened 2 of these videos up on her video creator or whatever, and literally they'd taken those down while she was busy, but she'd taken the screenshots. So that was very interesting. I'm going to ask Mornay to post the link of that particular one description area, so you guys can go and check it out for yourselves as well. It's just really interesting. But there's a shot where you clearly see there's like a fold over Charles's one side. It's almost like, it's just crazy. It's hard to describe. So that's why I want you guys to go and look at it as well. And then you literally see the next shot. Something is moving in his face and it looks completely different. And what this lady is saying is that that's something, or whatever this entity is, that's taking over the body or his body, and that is now literally ruling, and all of this in full view of the world. So I don't know how sinister that is. A lot of people are saying, this was a show, all of that. But I think it really is a good topic for conversation. And I think we should keep this conversation alive, because I do believe that when we have these great displays of these people, these famous people, these celebrities and these rulers and royalties of this world, it's very important that we can show up as much as what is happening there. Anyway, so I want to say, I think that's all that I have for you guys today. And I want to just say thank you again so much for watching our channel. Really, really, really appreciate your support. And I want to say to all you amazing mama bears out there, I don't know if you guys have Mother's Day on Sunday as well. I know some of you do, but I know that some of the countries you have it on not the same day as what we do anyway. So I want to say to you anyway, even if it's not your Mother's Day, for us it's Mother's Day on Sunday. So I want to say to all you amazing mothers out there, have the best day ever. Enjoy your moment and really just celebrate your families. I think it's such an important time now to do that. So on that note, I'm going to wish you well and God bless you all and have a fantastic weekend.